Good morning, St. Francis, and good morning, people of God. It is the first day of August 2022. It is Monday of the 18th week of the year, but it is also the memorial today of St. Alphonsus Liguori, the patron saint of all moral theologians in the Church, as well as the founder of the Redemptorist order in the 1700s. So remember all Redemptorists today on the feast day of their founder, as well as all those who study moral theology. Again, the thing about Alphonsus Liguori is that he tried to make moral theology more practical, less ethereal, and less bounded by aspects and understandings of purity and holiness that were unattainable by human beings. Even in the 1700s, Alphonsus Liguori was trying to look for a practical, useful, functional moral theology within the Church, how we operate as human beings, as believers in the world, in the time and space in which we live. So coming to you this morning from the Jersey Shore, where some storms have passed through the night, and so the ocean is a little bit angry still. The high tide has come in, or is coming in. So hopefully it will clear up a little bit later on today. But on this memorial of Alphonsus Liguori, Monday of the 18th week of the year, we continue to hear from Jeremiah, and today we have dueling prophets. We have Jeremiah himself, yes, but we also have Hananiah. And this is a different Hananiah than the Hananiah that ends up in the fiery furnace with Daniel. This is Hananiah who basically sets himself up as a prophet and begins to prophesy rosy pictures and wonderful things that are going to happen to the exiles in Babylon. Soon they'll be brought back to Israel. Everything will be well, and they'll be good friends with Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the emperor of Babylon. Jeremiah, however, comes in to say, Hananiah, you don't know what you're talking about. And although it sounds nice and wonderful, you are speaking falsehoods and setting up false hopes to people, and so stop doing that. Hananiah, because he is both favored by the royal courts, of course, because he's on the side of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and the people like what Hananiah has to say, as opposed to the doom and gloom that Jeremiah keeps telling them. Hananiah tries to supplant Jeremiah and tries to destroy his reputation, and takes the emblem of prophecy away from him. God speaks to Jeremiah and basically tells Jeremiah to tell Hananiah he's a false prophet, and that eventually he's going to die because of his false prophecies, and that's basically what happens. The thing that Jeremiah says is everybody only likes what a prophet has to say that's good after it happens. And so, again, the sense in which Jeremiah is still calling the people to a deeper understanding of their role and of themselves as people of God that have ended up in exile because they do not understand that, and they have followed the wrong ways and tried to kind of cheapen the covenant that God has established with them. Unless they wake up to that and realize that, they're not going to be able to move away from the situation that they are in. It's not just trying to hope for better things, but seeing what led them into the place that they are, and then working to heal that, and then going into the better things that God has in store for them. Always very difficult for human beings to do. Always very difficult for human beings who want the quick fix and the solution for today. But again, from death comes life, and Jeremiah keeps reminding the people that they have to die to many things, perhaps still, for that life that is with God to be returned to them, and for them to return back to Israel from exile in Babylon. Matthew's gospel continues again with Jesus after having preached. Again, now goes. He hears of the death of John the Baptist, and he goes away to a quiet place to contemplate, that reality and that truth that his cousin has been beheaded because of his prophecy and because he was not well liked by Herodias, the wife of Herod Antipas. And in trying to go away, even though he cannot escape the crowds who follow him. And so he sees them, and it is time for supper. There's nothing to prepare. They haven't brought anything. And so he asks the apostles to give them something to eat. And the apostles, out of fear, said that's impossible because we have no means to gather food for so much a crowd. And again, the 5 loaves and 2 fish become a feast for everyone. Again, it is a God who will stop at nothing to help us, even in his own grief and despair at hearing the death of John the Baptist, of his cousin. Jesus still responds in a way that considers the needs of others and is reaching out to others. That is a divine act, but not something that is just for people who are divine, like Jesus. It is evidenced in all kinds of people who can put aside their own situations to reach out to help others. It doesn't mean that their own situations of grief or remorse or whatever it is do not matter, or that they forget about them, or they try to suppress them, because that's not good and that's not healthy. But it is the sense in which sometimes we find our healing in our ability to reach out to others. We find our hope in our relationships with one another. We find that peace and that direction in life that comes from when we journey and walk with each other. We always say that our God is the one who delights in journeying with the human race, and so we must also delight in journeying with one another. And may the Lord give you his peace.